And we are now joined all the way from LA, the star of the show, one of the funniest men in the world, Jim Jefferies.
Oh.
Welcome back to Fifi, Fev and Nick.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Now, Jim, we've got a part-time comedian in our midst named Nick Cody. Now, he always talks about Daniel Sloss, his mate Jackie Chen. Is that his name?
Ronnie Chang.
Ronnie Chang. and Jim Jefferies. Now, do you know this man? Because he drops your name all the time, Jim. He's like, oh, me and Jim Jefferies, JJ. I'm like, oh, you call him JJ? Like,
saw Britney Spears together. Whatever.
No. We're good mates. Me and I want to say Nick. Nick used to open for me back in the day before he became too famous to be on me show. One time he came out to visit me in LA and I said, I'll take you out to the theme park. And he said, I don't do roller coasters. I get too sad. I get too scared, probably sad as well.
Yeah.
And so we had to go to the water park and me and him harassed Britney Spears all day. She was walking around with a kid.
I was telling him yesterday, Jim, we were sitting in a pool and there were just two huge units with guns on their waists nearby, and we're like, "What the hell are these?"
Which in
blokes doing
America
here?
is just a couple of fat people going out to lunch. You know?
It's one way to attack the waves.
Can I ask, Jim, you mentioned Britney. I want to get your take on this because you've probably, I don't know whether you've seen, I don't know how big it is over there in the States, but we've got Taylor Swift in town.
Oh.
She's sold out.
That's all we're talking about in America is Taylor Swift being in Australia. It's constant over here. We get the news, we get the election, and we get Taylor Swift in America. It's on the tip of everyone's tongue.
Because is she that big over there? Like if Taylor walks down the Hollywood Boulevard, do people
What? Do you think she just goes and stands near her star?
I don't know, but I just feel like
she was the most watched thing in the Super Bowl. And I'll let you know a secret. The Super Bowl is very popular out here.
Yeah.
That's like a big thing. Yeah, no, Taylor Swift's very famous. Yeah, if me and Taylor Swift walk down the street together, we both get recognized a lot. Like it's pretty... It's funny. My wife was on a TV show for Nickelodeon called The House of Anubis, like, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, right? She was on this TV show. And this TV show was very popular at the time with 10-year-old girls, right? The Nickelodeon show. So if me and the wife are walking along the street and a 25-year-old woman gets really excited and starts screaming, I know that's a fan of my wife's and not of me. And I tell you what, I found that out the hard way.
Jim has blokes that look like me yelling at him.
If I'm lucky. Although Nick, I follow you on the gram. You dancing at Taylor Swift was everything.
Thank you.
Look,
what a time.
I had a wank and went back to sleep. It just looked fantastic.
Mate, he had a lot of people from Oxford Street in Sydney sending him a
so
message.
excited.
Mate, it was a ripper night. Let's not pretend you don't have secret pleasure. I found out when I went over to visit him, big fan of musicals, old Jim.
Really?
He was singing away to Broadway tunes and he was a top opera singer.
I study musical theatre at WAPA, which is Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts. Only Australia could make the performing arts sound like a hamburger. But I studied. That's where Hugh Jackman went. I was all singing, all dancing. I loved it.
Don't worry, Jim. I'm a man's man. So I love musicals. So don't be ashamed of that because I often go.
If you love musicals, then it's socially acceptable.
Yeah,
for
100%.
us all. I didn't know I'd get a pass.
Yeah, you got a pass. Now, US politics is coming up. Potentially. The man, Donald Trump, he's got a big bill to pay. I don't know how political you get, but he's going to get back in. What do you think Biden's going to do? Is he going to go back to a retirement home or 6 feet under?
I think
the robot chip's going to get taken out?
I've put my money on Biden dying before the election. Yeah. So, fingers crossed.
Because we think he's a robot.
Well, hold on.
No,
you and Josiah think he's a robot.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any of that malarkey. Biden's doing a wonderful job. Old weekend at Biden's.
Yeah, every time they go to him, every time there's a picture of him, he looks like he's doing a dump, like he's pooing his pants. Have you seen? He just stands there.
Is that how you look when you poo in your pants? You put your arms to both sides.
I haven't pooed in my pants since I was about 4. Oh no, 6. I did it at school.
I had one of those when I was about year 2.
Yeah,
I followed through on a fart. Right,
Yeah.
do, as you do. And then, but I came from a poor family, you see, so I thought everything was very expensive. So instead of throwing the underwear
Washed them
away,
in the toilets.
I thought I'll just clean them as good as I can with a bit of toilet paper and hope for the best. And that was like at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I had to last till 3. And I remember like when you're in year 2, we could have a whole day of cutting and pasting. And the teacher came up, what smells here? And we had that Perkins paste that was just on the back of an ice cream lid. They would put in the middle, and we all were doing it with like, paddle pop sticks, sticking something on for the bloody the play at the end of the year. So I'm there, and I went, it's the paste, miss. It's the paste. And then she looked at me and she went, yes, the paste. And at the time as a kid, I thought I got away with it. And now as an adult, I realize I just smelt like feces, and she want to be mean to a child.
Jim was doing a bit of arts and charts.
Mate,
I like it.
I did the same thing. I was year 2. I pooed my pants, and I went to the... No,
what is it about turning 7?
I was in grade 2, so I went to the toilet and I washed my jocks in the sink. Smart, got the soap, cleaned them, they were fresh, put them back on, went back to the class, and all the kids were like, Brendan Wheaty's pants, Brendan Wheaty's pants. I said, no, I actually shit them. And then I got sent to detention.
Wait a minute.
I got sent to detention, and I went to the principal's office.
So when you went to the sink, I clean them with paper inside the cubicle, right? So when you went up to the sink, does that mean you were without Dax when you're up at the sink, washing them?
Don't
if
worry.
other kids walk in, because we all know
there's an elephant in the toilet.
There's 2 types of 8-year-olds in this world when you're a kid. Remember, there's the ones who are taught properly how to piss at the urinal, who can just go up, undo a couple of buttons, slightly hitch it down, and have a wee. And then there's the other kids who I assume grew up without fathers, right? They're the ones that just walk up to the urinal and they drop their dacks down to their ankles.
the Barney.
And they just sit there with their ass hanging out. You can't be friends with that kid.
You wouldn't know based
this
on
day I won't talk to them.
conversation that the 1% Club is about the 1% smartest people in the country. But where this
I thought it was still adults that pull their pants fully down at a urinal. They're in a 1% club of their own.
Cannot wait to watch it. It is back tonight, 7:30 on 7
right.
and 7 Plus.
We've got a show coming out
Jim
today.
Jefferies is hosting it, mate. We cannot wait to see you tonight. Thank you so much for your time.
We could have talked more about the show, but I love that we talked about what you guys were talking about.
Well, you also watch the 1% Club. Look, I'll just a little taster of tonight's episode. Someone shits themselves.
Yes, Jim.